Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. So today we're going to do the filming of the Q&A, and we did film it last weekend, but it got deleted. So I've also gotten some new questions that we've never seen, because I did have a whole separate little list of DMs that people had sent me that I was going to break into 2 parts, and now we're just going to throw it all into one. So let's get to it.
Alright. I guess this one's my question. What is the best characteristic Brittany has? There's so many, I can't really put my finger on one, but I guess if I can describe one, like, she's gonna try to bite my head off if I say something wrong, but my favorite characteristic is that, I guess, like, she's very selfless, and when I say that, like, she'll do anything for anyone, well, especially me or Kenzie. Like, you know, if I really needed something or I was in, you know, a lot of trouble, Brittany would really save me. You know, and I can't just say what's the best. Like, there's a combination of all of them. Like, she, you know, she does everything. She's like Superwoman. You know,
Aww.
She's literally, she takes care of me. Like, you know, food is ready to go when I come home, packed and ready to go when I go to work, clothes are done, everything. It's like, you know, there's so much things. She's just a very hardworking, you know, mom, young woman, young mom.
Sweet.
You know, that's just, it's just so many. That's a hard question. I don't know.
Sweet.
But that's how I feel. Anyways, moving on.
What is something you guys do to brighten each other's day? Well, I'll go first. I guess we'll just tell them what we do, like what I would do for you and what you do for me. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we have that whiteboard in the kitchen, or the chalkboard that I showed y'all in one of our last vlogs. I can't remember if it was, yeah, I think it was meal prepping. That was the one. I'll link that video. But so what I do is, not only do I write the dinner so he knows ahead of the time what we're having for dinner that night, but I also write him like a little note if I know that something's coming up with either a deadline or if he's being evaluated or something by a higher up. I write him an encouragement, sometimes a Bible verse if I just know there's something that he's struggling with, or sometimes it's just a Bible verse that anyone could use for any day.
It's just something
doesn't matter
simple.
if you have a good day or bad day. Yeah, I just like leave a little note, you know, or I'll say like, have a good day, or
yeah, like even the littlest thing, like it'll be like, you know, love you.
Yeah, me and Kens are proud of you.
You know,
something like that. That's what I do. And then of course I text him throughout the day, depending on how our days are going and like how busy we both are.
I can't keep my eyes off these.
I know.
Wasps
And if you
dumpers.
guys see these these wasps in the background, it's because we're infested by wasps. It's just too hot, and we ran out of that spray stuff.
Yeah, but paranoid. Things that I guess, like, I'll do for Brittany, like, I don't know, like, I guess I gotta get better at it because I don't really do a whole lot. I'll just say it. I don't know. She's not really the most like we're not really like affectionate in that way. Like, we don't like go like, oh, you know, snuggle and all this stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that we just understand that both of us are really busy throughout the day. Like, if Nick when he has a break or lunch, but I mean sometimes they have to skip their lunches, but if he does have a break, he'll text me and say, how's Ken's, or can you send me a picture of Kenzie and stuff, and then we'll kind of talk back and forth, maybe
I'll
3
ask her,
or 4
you know,
texts
how her day's going. I hope
but
she's
it's
doing
still
good.
checking in on me, which is more than, you know, but like Nick said, we kind of just are kind of the people that already know that we're loved by our spouse, and so we don't need like recognition every day.
I don't know, I always come in.
Oh, he'll bring me a Bluebell ice cream.
Yeah, I'll bring
because his store sells like the little personal, well, doesn't sell. They give for free the little Bluebell ice creams, a little personal size, and Nick knows that I love the birthday cake. And he'll bring me one usually like every other night.
And like I give Brittany, you know, in the morning when she's still sleeping, you know, I give her and Kenzie, you know, because Kenzie ends up in our bed, you know, 9 times out of 10. And, you know, give her a kiss on the head or whatever, and, you know, say, hey, have a good day, you know, love you.
Yeah.
Something like that. So
keep it simple.
Just simple, you know. She's not, like I said, we're not too crazy on stuff like that. So all y'all are probably like, oh, you're so weird. But I mean, it is what it is. Okay, here's a good one. Oh, no, I skipped one. How old is Confederate?
She's
12? 14?
She's 13, turning 14 in April.
So when we first bought her, on her, like, I guess birth certificate.
When I bought her, yeah, they said that she was 7 years old, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So she's a young horse that I can grow with and stuff. Not saying that she's not. But after I put her into the vet, a year after I got her, they said, yeah, if you look at her teeth, she's looking more like 10 or 11. So, and now I've had her for going on 4 years. So yeah, she's 13, turning 14 in April. What's the next one?
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten injured riding horses? That's a really good question.
Here you got... Oh, injured?
Have you ever gotten injured?
Okay.
Yes.
You want me to start with mine first? Because mine's not. Mine's not.
Because mine's too in depth.
Because yours is...
Okay, Nick can go first and I'll go.
The
fact that we're talking about...
I don't really think I got hurt. I just, like, scraped on my arm. But this lady that we used to keep our horses on her property, she would never do anything with the horse, and we would do all the work on her property, like, you know, clean it up, make sure all the sticks, whatever it was.
Let me just cut in real quick. This is before Nick had his own horse, Rebel. So, kind of for payment of him taking care of
I would train her horse.
Yeah, he could ride her horse whenever he wanted. Like, we took him on trails. So Nick got to mess with Bo. That was his name. Mm-hmm. Okay, there you go.
So Bo, he's one of those, you know, he's a good horse, but he was never taken care of by that owner. So I had to take care of him a lot more. And so he totally wasn't ready to be ridden. And the lady's like, you know, no, ride him, you know, I need you to ride him, put a saddle on, whatever. And okay, you know, this is, you know, that's fine, you know, I'll put a saddle on him. He starts bucking and stuff, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna be great, you know, once I get on his back, it's gonna be really fun. So I get on him, and as soon as I kick my foot over, he starts going like wild, like bucking in the air. And he bucks like 4 or 5 times. I'm like holding onto the horn, and I'm like hitting the seat really hard. And then I was like, okay, well, I gotta get off this horse because I'm gonna get really hurt. So as soon as he like stomped down and then bucked me back up, I like trying to like shot myself off in the distance, and I hit the ground. I scraped my arm. And then the only other time was your mom's horse, when we first got him and I first rode him. I didn't really get, like, I guess I got scraped up again, but like, he didn't really buck too much. He started bucking a lot, and I had to get off him, so I jumped off, and I scraped my arm. But now, now that we broke you in, here's the finale with this one right here.
Okay. I've gotten seriously injured twice, and it was only with my horse, Confederate. And so the first time that I got hurt on her, I had her for probably 2 months, maybe even just like a month and a half. She was a pretty new horse. And so I was brushing her, and I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but my horse is wild. She came from the Colorado Plains, so she was a wild mare who had one owner before me. And so she was a little bit ornery, and she was not trained. They said that she was broke to ride, but not really. So I was grooming her, having a good time and stuff, and then out of nowhere, she kicked me into like this little barn shed.
Like
and she pinned me up against the shed with her hind leg, and the shed obviously. And so what happened was, it hurt really bad when it happened, but my trainer always used to tell me, don't end the day with the horse thinking it won. So limping and like in serious pain, I took my horse up to the round pen that was probably a good 800 yards from, you know, where she kicked me into the shed, and I was lunging her and stuff, and I thought, okay, this is good. She's calmer now, so now I'm going to put her away because now she thinks that I won, right? And so my mom and my dad were there, and they're like, oh, you're not really looking good. You're not walking straight. And I said, no, I'm fine. I'm going to go home. I'm going to ice my back because my back was really hurting. And then I went home, and I went to use the bathroom, and I came out, and I was like, hey, Mom, like, you know, I have blood in my urine. And my mom, like, immediately, she's like, hey, we need to go to the hospital. Something happened to your kidney or your spleen. We need to, like, go now. And I was swelling, and I had this huge red bruise. It was a blood blister. It was bad. It was of her foot.
It was the shape of her hoof. It was, I ain't gonna lie, it was pretty rad.
So yeah, Nick came home from work because that's when he was working.
Not that she got hurt. I'm just saying it was pretty cool, the scar on her back.
He was working part-time, so he met us at the hospital. And so when I was telling them the triage, everything that was going on, they're like, yeah, let's take a urine test. Sure enough, took my urine test. It was dark red, like straight blood. So then they took me out to a back room by myself because I was over 18 at that time. And they said, yeah, so what we're probably going to need to do, we're going to do like the dye MRI where they shoot dye into your veins to see if there's any laceration of any internal organs. And they said what it's looking like is like you probably have a lacerated kidney or spleen. And they said if that's what it is, we have to rush you into emergency surgery. And this was a military base, and if anyone's ever dealt with military doctors, they're very blunt. They're not going to sugarcoat anything. They don't really have the best bedside manner. So I was sitting there and I was like, okay, like no big deal. You know, I was kind of just praying about it. And this orderly came in, they're like, yeah, you understand that if you get this surgery, there's a good chance you could bleed out. Like, this is a very serious surgery, and we've had some people die before. And it's just like, okay, cool. And I was like, well, can I see my mom and, like, my boyfriend, my dad? And they're like, no, it sucks to be an adult, doesn't it? I'm like, no, you just told me I was about to go into surgery that I might die from. Okay, anyway, long story short. I did the MRI. Yes, there was, like, a small laceration, but it wasn't bad enough to have surgery, thank God. But they put me on very strenuous bed rest for like 3 days. I had to go do checkups with them. I couldn't ride my horse for a month and a half. I can't remember the details because it's so long ago, and that's what that is. And then, let's see. And the second time I got injured, me and Nick and my mom all went on trail ride after she got her horse.
I guess it'd be 3 times because...
that doesn't really count. I don't think that really counts. But anyways, the major time, though, was when we all went on a trail ride. And me and Nick were riding our horses. We were cantering, and if you guys don't know what cantering is, that means you're running full speed. And there was this big open plain, and it was lined with like those electrical lines, telephone and everything, like those huge ones, those industrial ones. And we were all running, have a great time. Me and Nick were racing each other. We were like horse to horse. Like spit was going everywhere. Like our horses spit, not ours, but they were running that fast.
We were running pretty fast.
And me and Nick were like cracking up, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna beat you," and all this stuff. And like literally right when I said that, my horse's hoof got stuck in a hole, like a gopher hole, and I went flying. Like when I say flying, she literally kicked her whole back up in the air. She was vertical.
Yeah, she
planted her front.
She planted her front feet and
she kicked me off, and it wasn't her fault. It wasn't malicious. She literally got stuck, and I was flying. Like I remember looking over, and I was just seeing Nick like he was level with me. That's how much I was like I was falling.
She was like
fast.
Superman. Like she was like when she got thrown off. Like she got thrown off like this.
Yeah.
And she was like.
And so I fell. Boom. Well, Nick was still cantering because that's how fast I was flying, right? And then he jumped off his horse, and he came that close to actually catching me. But he was like 2 seconds too late. And anyways, I crashed right on my leg, and I thought that I had broken it. Like I couldn't. It was the worst pain in my thigh, like where my.
You got a big bruise from it.
That femur? Where my femur was like the worst pain. And it bruised right up, and it got swollen. And we were about 2.5 hours away from our car. And it was hot that day. So I had to get back on my horse, and my leg was so stiff, and I was crying. But anyways, sprained my leg. Thank God, no breaks. There. Sorry, that was a really lengthy answer, but y'all want to know the details. I'm not just gonna say
when she got kicked by Confederate, it put her down for a long time.
Oh, and it made me so like, and any of you guys who are watching, it made me so afraid of my horse. I had to go get like personal training because I was. My mom and dad wanted to sell the horse. First off, they're like, get rid of that thing. If you're gonna get another horse, we're gonna get an old one that's been tamed and stuff. And I love Confederate. From the minute I saw her, like me and Confederate have been like this. Even when she kicked me, I was still like. I loved her, but I was afraid of her after that. Then I was like, oh God, like I'm afraid to be close to her.
When Bernie...
And to this day, I am afraid of hind legs. Like I'll touch them and stuff, but I am afraid of horses kicking near me.
Mm-hmm. When Bernie means like she's a wild horse, like you know when you hear a Mustang, that's what they call wild horses, is a Mustang. So
crap, are we already at 14 minutes?
If FYI. Oh yeah, for a long time. Anyways, what do you miss most about life pre-baby?
Honestly, what I miss the most is really simple. I miss sleep. I took my sleep for granted. Anyone who knows me knows how much I love my sleep. I used to take it very seriously. Like, I would pre-plan my day in high school just to get back home so I could go take a nap.
Sorry, people are jamming country music and riding ATVs. No.
Yee! Okay, second question.
It says,
do you think your next baby will be a boy or girl? What would you prefer? Well, first and foremost, I would prefer any baby that God chose us to love on and to take care of. So that's not a problem for me. But in our hearts, Nick and I just, like, for some reason, we just think that God has ordered us to be girl parents. Like, the minute I took the pregnancy test with Kinsey, we both looked at each other and like, well, that's a girl.
Yeah, I knew it was a girl. Like that I kind of wanted a boy at first, but then, I don't know, it's like something changed. Like, I'm fine with whatever I got.
Yeah, like what I think is, if it was another girl, I would feel comforted in the fact that, like, okay, well, I know I can be a good mom to a girl. Boy would be totally new territory, but I'd be willing to put in the work for that. And when did you move to Texas? So we moved to Texas the day that we graduated from high school in 2014. Well, I did.
She did.
And then Nick moved out a month later and got a job. So since the summer of 2014, we've been out here. What's one annoying thing you guys do to each other?
Oh, okay. I got one. So I'll be saying something, and Brittany thinks it's funny that I'll be complaining about something, or I'll say something, you know, and all of a sudden she'll be like,
yeah.
And then
I do that.
And then also, and then she'll be like, I'm Nick. And every time I try to say something, she copies me in that same exact voice. You try to act like you don't
laugh. He starts busting up laughing, and
because
I
can't say anything. Can't say anything. It's so annoying.
There's two things that Nick does that annoy the.
Oh, I thought the question just said one thing.
Well, there's two.
No, there's not. They said one thing.
So Nick does this thing where at night he has to rub his feet together, like to get himself to go to sleep. It's like a pattern of rubbing his feet together, and the sound of it underneath the covers, ew. But then the second thing that bothers me so much is that he'll turn on the TV because he needs background noise, and I'll be like, okay, are you actually going to stay awake to watch this? Yeah, don't turn it off. Literally 3 seconds later, he's snoring. So then I have to get out of bed to turn it off because it's all on his side.
Oh, man.
That's married life.
No, tell him what I did for you. We switched sides, so if that does happen...
It's only because the air conditioning's on my side. Nick likes to be cold, and I don't like to be cold.
Anyways. Do you find Brittany more attractive after having a baby? I mean, hey, I'm going to get a little 18-plus-year-old. I'm not going to lie.
What?
I don't... Brittany was well, at that time, yeah, she's very attractive in high school and stuff like that. I find her, like, maybe more attractive now because, like, you know, she had a baby, and, you know, she's kind of like a mom now, you know,
yeah, just kind of.
Yeah, she's a mom now, so.
But
she's very beautiful.
I think it's deeper than just like a physical attraction. I think that it's the emotional attraction because you've never experienced your spouse loving anything.
We've found like I don't know. We love each other a lot more now just because
we both made Kinsey, and
it's cool. It's I never thought I could love more than I thought.
I think it's indescribable if you've never gone through it, but the moment you go through it, you'll realize, you know, how much more you love your spouse once your baby comes. Are you still friends with anyone from high school or California?
I mean, I still talk to some guys. I mean, they don't ever come out, like, we don't ever, like, go out and hang out with each other and stuff like that, so I guess if you call that friends, I guess. I mean, we still talk to people, you know? Not like, you know, best friends on the phone, FaceTime.
What I will say is that, for me personally, I had some really good girlfriends in high school when I was in high school. And then kind of just like the moment that I decided to get married and have babies, we kind of just went our own separate ways, which I don't begrudge because I think that it's hard. It was hard for me to relate to them anymore, and it was impossible for them to relate to me because they didn't understand the new struggles that I had. So we separated in that way. So we're not close at all anymore. But I think that there's a mutual agreement, at least on my side, that if they need anything, I'd always be there. It doesn't matter what kind of beef we've had. Like, I'll be there for anybody. I don't care what you've done to me. If you need a help or need a helping hand or advice, I'm there for your guidance, spiritual guidance. But what we were just talking about, which I think is so funny, is that I've realized that the friends that I had growing up, like when I was little, like from 5 to like 8, I've realized in my adulthood how much more close I am to those people. And I never thought I would, because in high school we went to different high schools and stuff like that. But now as life is going forward and they're getting married and having babies, it's just funny how you start. Yeah, even people from high school that we kind of had, you know, like we knew of you and we'd say hi to stuff in the hallways. Now that they're getting married and having babies, like they'll DM us and we're like, oh wow, like that's so weird. And we're better friends with them.
Way more relatable now because our lives are different. It's a whole different chapter.
The shift that takes place. It's
not like we don't like, you know, people we went to high school, but it's just we're on two different.
It's just not
levels.
The same anymore.
It's not the same. Like we're a little bit further.
Is marriage still what you thought it would be, and if so, why? Want me to answer this?
I mean, I got my version of it.
I know, but we're already at like 20 minutes.
Oh.
Okay, so for me, I think marriage is everything that I expected and more. The only thing, I guess what you never really understand until you're married is just like, unlike when you're dating, when you have a disagreement, it affects you directly when you're married, and it's something that has to be dealt with immediately.
Like right then and there. There's no like.
Yeah, there's no such thing as like, okay, I'm gonna go home and I'll talk to you at school on Monday. There's none of that high school stuff. When me and Nick have an issue, we've made it like a really huge thing that we discuss it pretty much within 30 minutes of it happening. Because for me and Nick, we're very stubborn people. We both are, and if we let something go for days, it'll only get worse.
Yes.
Or we'll both get on the defensive, and we'll be like, well, no. That's
a good lesson that you guys need when. I mean, for us, it works out like that. So if you guys are
like that whole saying, like, don't go to bed angry. It sounds corny, but I think that's like the number one rule that you should always keep in your marriage or your serious relationship is to never go to bed angry, because you're gonna go to sleep with like horrible thoughts about something or someone, and that's just the devil talking. And you need to let God's light radiate into your relationship, and when you feel that tug right after a fight's happened to either apologize or to get on the same level as somebody, that's God pushing you to do the right thing, and you need to listen to it. Don't let the devil take over your emotions and your mindset. You
gotta put your pride away.
Yeah, put your pride away, because there is no such thing as pride in a marriage, because you are one person. You are one endless circle. You know what I mean?
And for me, a lot of like, it's like, oh, well, you know, I'm a man, and whatever I say goes. It's like, you know, if you put your pride away, let's talk about it.
You have to hear both sides before you can move on an argument.
I mean, Brittany and I aren't perfect, but you know, that's just what's helped us. So hopefully, if that does happen to you, it can help you.
Yeah. Who do you think Kenzie looks more like?
Her mama. Jeez.
I think that Kenzie, appearance-wise, like when you talk about how small she is and how she's proportioned, but just small, but her legs are long, like that was me as a baby. Like you can ask anyone, it took me until I was like almost 2 to hit 19 pounds. That's pretty much how Kenzie's going right now. Now, like, she's got mannerisms of Nick and me, but the problem is me and Nick have very similar mannerisms. Like, we're very similar people. If you just look at how our mannerisms when we talk and stuff, we're very similar. That's just who we are. So it's going to be interesting to see what Kenzie looks like. But what I will say, though, is that sometimes people try to push their opinion too much.
We'll be in the grocery store, and like, say Brittany's holding her, and we'll get a couple people. Oh my God, she looks just like you. You know, like pointing at.
And then if Nick's holding the baby,
she looks exactly like you.
And then when we move close together, they're like, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Like I can see who the parents are.
I don't understand. Me personally, when someone's like, oh yeah, you know, this baby looks just like that, I'm like, a baby is a baby.
Yeah, Nick just thinks babies look like babies. I just think Kenzie looks like herself. I mean, honestly, she's got parts of me and Nick, obviously. Yeah. But she just looks like herself now. Now that she's developing her own personality, when I see Kenzie, I just see Kenzie.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. And then, let's see, one question that we get asked a lot is, when did we meet and how did we meet. We're going to try to cut it down to be really like a short answer that answers all your questions. So, me and Nick have always been in each other's lives, pretty much our entire lives, and I'll explain it to you in this way. Nick played Pop Warner football. I was a cheerleader for Pop Warner football. I was always a cheerleader for his team, and always just so happened that I'd always get his number to cheer for. So he's been like number 50, he's been a 55, he's been a 45, he's been a 36. So, all of those numbers I've cheered for. But me and Nick did not actually start talking until we were in 8th.
21.
Whatever. And then me and Nick did not actually start talking though, like face to face until we were both in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And a little backstory is I was homeschooled from 6th grade and 7th grade. And then I went back to public school in 8th grade, and that's where me and Nick met because we all had mutual friends, hence football and cheerleading.
Plus a little bit, real quick, because our video's getting kind of long, but when she was saying we never knew each other really when I was playing football and she was in cheer, but like I'd always be in the background of her pictures with my family.
And then vice versa.
Vice versa.
I can't find any for you guys because that was back in MySpace days. I'm sorry, but it was.
We can try to find them and try to post them.
I'll also post pictures from the wedding when I was just talking about the wedding.
Yeah.
I'll post pictures though for you guys so you guys can see what we look like when we met. I have those. So, but anyways, so we've known each other since 8th grade. Was it a mutual attraction? No. Nick was attracted to me. I was scared of Nick. I'd run away from him for like 2 straight weeks. Literally ran away from him.
But now look at me. You know, can't resist.
Right. So anyways, we definitely have more questions that you guys have sent us, like I said, because we did film before and there were a lot of questions that we asked, but it got deleted. So if you guys want to see another video like this part 2, let us know in the comments below or give this video a thumbs up and we'll definitely film another one for you guys that goes more in depth. But we'd like to thank you guys again for watching our videos. It means so much to us that you guys care about our lives and want to know about who we are as people. And remember to please subscribe if you guys are new to this channel. Give this video a thumbs up, like I said, if you want to see part 2. And leave us a comment as well if you want to see part 2. And remember to let your faith be as big as Texas.
Thank you.
And before you let your faith be as big as Texas, make sure you turn on that notification bell so you're the first to know when we upload.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to get tired of sharing my stuff on Facebook because I'm not really a Facebook person. But anyways, let your faith be as big as Texas. Bye, y'all.
Yeah.